Right, back on again. Thought I'd do a little bit more along the drove, really. A little bit further up, there's a beautiful sculptured stone stile. It was one of the first sort of styles I'd seen when I started exploring Somerset when I retired, and when I decided to come out and find all the walks. And there are lots and lots of walks. I've got my main framework of walks that I use, and then I allow time to explore and weave in and out of that frame. And of course I do a lot of exploring when I go off in my camper van, and I go all over the country, really. I've got to do more. I've been to Wales, I've done St David's, all around that area, Pembrokeshire. I do want to go up to Snowdonia again. I've been there in the past. I've climbed Snowdon in the past when I was a student. I remember that. It was winter, it was freezing, and we actually stayed in a hut not far away, and it was absolutely freezing. There was no heating. You just had a sleeping bag, and you had to wash in cold water. It was really harsh. Students would complain these days. They had to have those conditions. Anyway, not to worry. I don't think the English group, well, I was with it, the students from Bournemouth, and I don't think we had been, well, I hadn't been given information enough, so I can't remember us taking a lot of food or anything. But the Germans were well equipped. They were carrying cans of lager up the flipping mountain. They had huge chunks of cheese and bread and everything, and other things. I think we did have something, but and I can remember having a nice tea and pie in the Welsh village at the bottom of the mountain when we eventually went down. I can't remember if we went down on the train or not. I can't remember if we went down on the train or if we walked down. But I was very thin in those days, 7.5 stone, 8 stone most. And I did have a good appetite, but I never used to overindulge. Or if I did, I burnt it up so quick. Yeah, God, I was skinny for years. I had 4 children. I went up to 10 stone. When I started running marathons, I got back down to 8 stone. And as long as I was doing my running and swimming, I stayed like that. But once I started full-time employment and changed careers as well, and all the other things, the chemistry of the body changes as you get older, surprisingly the weight started to creep up. And but I'm talking about before I really put on any weight was I was 45 going on 50, and let me see, 2006. God, it's 12 years. Yes, 12 years ago I was still quite slim, really. So it's been late 50s, I would say. I started to put on a little bit of what I call my Titanic ring, which I see as like a survival thing. You know, if I ever haven't got any food, that'll keep me going. If I fall in the water, it'll keep me afloat. So I've had this thing I've been joking about for years, my Titanic ring, and around my stomach, you know. And of course I stopped swimming quite a few years ago. I was usually a big swimmer. You know, I could swim non-stop for an hour. I was front crawl. Didn't think anything of it. And, swim 100 lengths of a pool, non-stop. I was quite fit, really. And then I started getting skin irritations, and my eyes used to play up a lot, even with goggles. And my breathing started. So I remember thinking it was the chlorine in the water, that I shouldn't swim in pools. So I more or less stopped. And yet I was a very, very keen swimmer. I used to do lane swimming. I'd swum a triathlon once in Reading, Reading's first triathlon I did. And I used to train with the triathletes and the firemen. I would go lane swimming, bilateral front crawl. I was a good swimmer. I was also a member of Reading Life Saving Club. So that's probably set me up well in the running. For now I walk. But of course the breathing, for some reason, did deteriorate. It is getting better in a strange way. I mean, I gave up smoking 5 years. 10 years ago I started giving up. It took me 5 years to gradually cut down. So I was hardly smoking at all, really. And then for the last 5 years I've not had one at all. And I won't either. Oh, just heard a bang. They must just have blown a bit up. I've just heard a crash. Right, I'm going to turn off for a minute. I'm going to keep a bit of video for in a minute.